Okay, in this video, we're going over the story of a sassy American being held by the police in Dubai. Follow along.
You're watching DC-born Rob, Erasing Borders. And now, news.
Okay, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever it is you're located. Thanks for watching. You're watching DC-born Rob, Erasing Borders, and my name is DC Rob. Number one, we want to encourage you to travel here, but also to travel anywhere, but specifically to Medellin, Colombia. So I'm doing these videos for expats who live in Colombia, in Medellin, Colombia, that would like to see the news in English and find out what's going on without having to translate it themselves, as well as those who want to visit Medellin, Colombia and other parts of Colombia and know how to move around safe and know what's going on before they arrive, during, and after they return. Anyway, this story has to do with a video that I did a few weeks ago, and I did it last year as well. It was entitled, Don't Be American, or Stop Being American. And it has to do with the attitude that we carry when we go to other parts of the world and even other parts of the country. Because I'm from DC, I have an attitude when I leave. Well, let's just say I used to have an attitude. Now I'm pretty laid back and cool. And I'm getting ready to hit 3 weeks of travel, so I don't need any problems anywhere. So I know how to move around. But this has to do, again, with traveling abroad. Let's just jump into the story right quick, and then I'll see you on the other side.
The last 2 months are described as terrifying for a Houston woman who we're told is being detained in Dubai.
Fox 26's Domely Keith joining us live near downtown Houston with why she's being held. Domely.
Well, the crime she's charged with may surprise you, and Dubai is increasingly becoming a vacation spot for a number of Houston women. One who's there right now, according to her social media page, is trying to get back to the Bayou City, but according to her mom, her passport has been confiscated because she was charged with screaming in public.
It also could result in prison time. So it's very scary.
The trip turned terrifying for Tierra Young Allen when her mom says she was a passenger in a friend's rental car and they got into an accident there in Dubai. Tina Baxter says when her daughter went to the company to retrieve her ID, credit card, and other items left in the rental, Baxter says it did not go well.
She found out that she could only receive those items if she paid an undisclosed amount of money. She dealt with a very aggressive individual, a young man there who was screaming at her.
Baxter says her 29-year-old daughter ultimately yelled back at the rental car agent, she says, resulting in her being charged for screaming there in Dubai.
And so she is in jail for one reason and one reason alone. She raised her voice. In that country, a female is not even allowed to raise her voice. If she raises her voice, it's punishable by jail time.
It's been very emotional. There are some days I stay up all night crying.
They have a strict law system that is really based on theocracy.
This website warns, quote, laws and customs are very different, so be aware of your actions to ensure they don't offend while in United Arab Emirates. Now, after Baxter says her daughter was charged with screaming in Dubai, her passport has been taken, and the American social media influencer who works as a truck driver can't leave the UAE, according to her mom. And her mom says she's been placed under a travel ban pending the outcome of the investigation.
It's very frightening. The longer she's been there, the more reality has started to kick in.
In our opinion, she did not commit a crime. Don't punish women for doing the same thing a man can do in Dubai. It's not fair and it's not right.
Now, the 29-year-old does now have an attorney there in Dubai, and her mom says she's told that she could face jail time because there is surveillance video of her screaming. Now, we have reached out to the U.S. and the UAE embassies. Will government officials step in and give her assistance? I'm still awaiting responses. Reporting live near downtown Houston, I'm Domely Keith, Fox 26 News.
What the ball play? I better bet it what the ball play. Bet it with the long way. One love to the southwest side.
Yes, absolutely. So I have to say thanks to all the guys who support this channel. Much appreciation, guys. I really, really appreciate it. But to the story, yeah, you can't take that American attitude with you when you leave this country. You need to mellow out and learn how to humble yourself. Quick story. I've been to Dubai. I went with my ex. That was our first big trip that we always wanted to go. I've always wanted to go to Dubai. I always wanted to fly on Emirates. We flew on Emirates, had the whole row. It was a great trip. But there are certain things that you need to be aware of when you go to certain countries. So just like I do this channel specific to Medellin, Colombia, and go over all the rules and laws and how to move around and so on, you need to watch a YouTube video or a bunch of YouTube videos before you go to that country, just as I did for Cuba. And I even did interviews here for Cuba before I went to Cuba. So you need to be aware of your host country and the rules and laws and how to act, really. So quick story, we rode the bus, we rode the train. We rode the train and we're on the train, and I'm not noticing that everybody's jammed up on one end. And I look around and she looks around and says, I'm with my ex, and she goes, I don't think you're supposed to be here. What do you mean? There's like 3 or 4 guys up front. And well, not 3 or 4 guys. Let's say there's 40, 50 guys up front, but there's 3 or 4 people in the back where we were. Obviously, I went where there were not a lot of people, but not knowing that the back of the bus and the back of the train is where the men are supposed to be. The men are kept separate from the women. So all the men are jammed up tight. And I'm over there with the women, like 4 or 5 women, and she's like, I don't think you're supposed to be here. So I went on the other side. Same thing on the bus. Anyway, get off the train, go down the elevators. There's a row of doors to the left, and I see a convenience store. So we commenced to you can't even read what the doors say. I assume it says exit. Maybe it said don't use these doors. I don't know. But I open the door and the alarm sounds off. So instead of continuing to go through, we were like, oh, shoot, shut the door. I need to go get some water before we head to the hotel. So from that little convenience store. And right then, a guard rolls up. Now, I know what the international sign is. I don't need no problems. No, hey, what's going on? Little short dude. He's like 5'2" or whatever. Goes, you? And I don't want to imitate him improperly. Just say, I'm just going to tell you. He said, why did you open the door and not go out? We were just going over to get some water. No problem. Shut this alarm off, first of all, because now we're drawing attention to ourselves. And I'm the one that's got to throw up the international peace sign, the international, I don't need no problems. No, whoa, hey, I don't, because you're not even supposed to kiss women or hold their hand in Dubai. At least that's what our investigation told us. We did see some. But why even follow along if you know it's even 50% appropriate? Why do it? So nothing, no affection or signs of affection. Now, again, some people did. I don't know if they were tourists and they didn't know any better or whatever, but just be aware of what's going on in your host city. Now, he's like, okay, well, go on, and shut the door back. And then we grabbed the water. I was like, whoa, that was a close one. Last thing I want to do is be held in a Dubai jail. Now, this chick is sassy. She even has a name, Sassy. She's from Houston, Texas. She's sassy, and she's got her own YouTube channel. So they're advertising for her, too. So there's a lot of people over on this Sassy Trucker site right now, I'm sure. I guess just a American chick. And, when they call themselves sassy, already, she got an attitude. I'm just saying, I'm just thinking that. Now, Quanell X is in this story, who's a local representative for people who have been wronged, especially people of color. I don't know how he got involved in this. Because she's wrong. How can we impose our American attitudes, laws, and thoughts on another country and their government? How can he represent her as an advocate saying that, women should be able to yell over there? What? It's a patriotical country. Men are in charge. Men are in charge. Women don't really have that, as many rights as men. Let's just put it that way. I don't know all the details, but I do know this. It's a man's country. You can't be over there as a tourist yelling. Now, again, depending upon where you're from, she's from Houston. She should be laid back, really, because we're pretty mellow overall by comparison to the Northeast. Again, I'm from D.C. I had an attitude. Every once in a while, I'll snap and right quick and then have to, okay, what's the best case scenario out of this? I got to mellow out. And, you have to think the older you get, you start realizing, okay, what's the best outcome? Okay, I get in a fight here and I get a black eye, or I get knocked out. He gets a black eye. He gets knocked out, or somebody gets shot. He's got friends with him. What happens? Or I get arrested, or I actually punch somebody, turns out to be a cop. So you have to run all this stuff through and just humble yourself and, hey, let's learn to live and experience another day. I'm not trying to see the inside of anyone's jail in anybody's country, not my city, not any country. So learn to humble yourself, mellow out, chill out. What's the best case scenario you can make this? Or what's the worst case? What's the worst thing that can happen by you having that attitude? So I would say mellow out. So chill out, calmate, okay? Especially, you don't know the laws. You don't know what can happen when you can yell at a Colombia police officer. We've seen people do it. We've seen it at the airport over the last week. We've seen a lot of people catch attitude with the police. What happens after we see that little viral video? What happens to them? Are they now marked? Can they not come back to the country? I know how we all love Colombia. Don't we want to go back? I mean, why would you try to alienate yourself from the country and those in charge? They can make it. You can be persona non grata, and they will not let you back in. Or you catch an attitude right off the bat. Look at Manfred. Go back and look at my stories of him being held at the Cartagena airport. Search that up. DC Born Rob, Cartagena airport. And you'll see how he was actually sent back, put on the plane, sent back, and then he ended up coming back to Medellin. But yeah, and it happened again. A sister got held up there, and she reached out to me from the room. So we had video and conversations from that little room. They will send you back. Stop playing with these other countries. This stuff is for real. Anyway, happy weekend, guys. Remember to travel, but travel safe. And now humble yourself, too. Headed to Medellin, Colombia? See my guy Andres with Nomad Travel for safe airport pickups and drop-offs and tours. Contact information in the description below. If you're in Medellin and you need dental work done, from a basic cleaning to major reconstructive surgery, come see my guy, Dr. Carlos Mori. Contact information in the description below.